The most scalable weapon in the game is Cedo, and it offers many cool things to play around with. Primary Fire is an auto shotgun that has innate damage increase per status effect on the enemy, 60% per unique status effect. That's cool and all, but status chance is the lowest, probably of all weapons. Alt Fire mode comes in play, and it's a glaive that acts like a bouncing homing missile and inflicts a metric boatload of status effects. And it will deal all 4 base elemental status effects: heat, toxin, cold, and electricity in a big area. Adding secondary elementals to this build adds more procs. Obvious choice would be viral. So combining those 2 fire modes is the name of the game here. And building it, we mostly focus on primary fire mode. So critical chance, critical damage, multi-shot, viral, fire rate, galvanized savvy, and hunter munitions. Deadhead arcane because headshot damage is juicy, though arcane choice is mostly down to preference. To explain this, critical deceleration helps make hunter munitions perform better, and it's worth having it on. But it makes fire rate a tad too slow, so fire rate mod is recommended with it. Which one you use, it doesn't matter. Galvanized Savvy is there to stack additively with innate condition overload. Hunter munitions are probably the only way to inflict any status effects with primary fire mode, so there's another cool reason to use it. Viral is there to obviously increase damage. Alt Fire will do viral status effects alongside 4 primary elementals, so that helps out a lot. Projectile flight speed is more useful for the glaive than for primary fire mode. Even if primary mode has a rather steep damage fall off, it starts falling off at 26 meters, which essentially makes it negligible, because most engagement is at less than 30 meters in most style sets. But for alt fire mode, projectile flight speed accelerates the glaive quite a lot, making it a lot more effective. Because aside from inflicting hits faster, it also returns faster, so you can shoot it more often. Another thing that makes glaive more effective is multi-shot. You just launch multiple glaives, with each one of them having a mind of its own. I don't use any flat damage mods on this, because innate condition overload works all the time, and it's not like Galvanized Savvy that needs few kills to get it going. While this weapon has the lowest base damage, potential damage you can pull off with this is extremely high, which makes it very suitable for fighting against high-level enemies, and that's the best place for Cedo. Low damage per shot makes it just a weaker weapon than most when it comes to dealing with sort of mid to high tier enemies where many other weapons will just one-shot everything, and Cedo needs multiple shots. But as levels go higher, Cedo does not need many more shots to deal with enemies, thanks to its scaling, but those other weapons that were better now start to have a steeper increase in time to kill. That's kinda the best way I can explain a place where Cedo fits, and it's probably when enemy levels go above few hundreds. Glaive on Cedo has nice utility and can be used, for example, with Korra to help you deal with stuff faster. If you build your Whip Claw for slash procs and you lack viral on it, using Cedo's glaive will inflict that viral in quite an area. Korra being the best farming frame in the game, that definitely adds a value to it. Even if Korra's Whip Claw does not really benefit from condition overload, viral status does increase damage to health as well as bleed procs, which definitely helps when farming Steel Path. All in all, that glaive is utility and nothing more. Its damage is very low, so don't expect many kills with it, unless you chain it with something like Garuda's Forced Bleeding. Weapon does have a bit of a kick with primary fire mode, so it might be worth it switching that projectile flight speed for counterbalance mod. Depends on the user really. Also Deadhead mitigates some of that recoil, and it depends on how much fire rate you add. For Riven stats, with such low disposition, it's a tight fit, but as long as you get a Riven that replaces one of the mods in the build, you should be fine. For example, Riven with Toxin or Fire Rate. Multishot is always a welcome stat, but if Riven stats don't free up one slot, you may end up sacrificing too much. For me, I'd probably like Fire Rate, Multishot, and Projectile Flight Speed on a Riven, or Toxin instead of Multishot so I can use Vigilante armaments, as I doubt the Riven disposition will go any higher for this weapon. Pro tip would be to switch Cedo's energy color to something dark to avoid getting blinded by the glaive. I used this color on Smoke color palette to make it less of an issue. Still, Even with as bright of a color as you can put on, you will see where to shoot because glaive is inflicting damage, so you just shoot towards the numbers. Your teammates might not have that great of an experience if they didn't enable lowering visual effects from squad mates. That should be enough info for you to build Cedo. This weapon does not have too many variations in the build since direction is clear that you need to build to scale it. Does not make it any less fun because weapon is hella strong and hella convenient. Thank you for watching, subscribe to help the channel out, and I'll see you in the next one.